With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Ever witnessed someone so fast on track you doubt you could ever be on their level? The mission of Advanced Motorsports is to demonstrate the speed is achievable for everyone. With the expertise of some of the best sim drivers in North America, we are set to release free content on social media and comprehensive guides on our website. For those seeking the ultimate experience, our Advanced Motorsport Institute and personalized coaching sessions are the way to go. No matter your level of experience, we invite you to follow us on our social media to learn to be fast.
Tonight, we crown some champions at the place that many people call too tough to tame. The Lady in Black, the host of tonight's Action Precision Racing League with its Truck Series and its Grand National Series. We start with the trucks here on RaceSpot. Justin Prince, Derek Watson with you, Dustin Ellis, our producer, as we are in the midst of our final week of the season. 8 previous rounds to lead into tonight, Derek, and tonight it comes down to Darlington to see who becomes a champion.
Isn't it fitting, JP? A beautiful, historic piece of track that just, traditions are rooted in, memories are made from, and here we get to make some more with champions in the PRL. So there's the schedule. You saw it happen all season long. But we're at the end now at Darlington. But let's take a look at the points and see where we stand coming into tonight. Well, JP, it's kind of settled in the trucks a little bit. With Brett Adams turning the truck on tonight in a few minutes, he has basically all but clinched that point lead. He'd have to really have something horrible happen to not make it happen. But it's Zach Panzarella, Patrick Cowgill, Marty Calvert all fighting for P2. And then Philip Beaver, Nicholas Hunter, Austin Hunter in 5, 6, and 7. And then Mike Toomer Jr., Stacy Hunter, and Alex Hillman round out your top 10.
Let's take a look at the team standings. DDI Motorsports 44 Ever leading the way in those standings by a slim margin, in fact, for team standings at least. Whataback Racing Final Drive has a chance to steal that away. Philmar tied with them as well. It could go either way in those team standings. Whataback Racing Hunters, Battle Bus Racing amongst the top 5. Buster's Buzz Racing Club back in 6th. You also have those in the 300 Club, including Adams Family Racing. That's a look once again at your team standings entering tonight's festivities. Tonight's festivities are brought to you in part by Advanced Sim Racing. Owned and operated by passionate sim racers, Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available on the market today. All PR members also get a 5% discount on ASR products using the Precision 5 coupon code. Racebox offers mid and high-end button boxes for sim racing enthusiasts, from the casual gamer up to the most meticulous sim racing driver. Competitively priced and carefully handcrafted, our button boxers are a enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit raceboxsimracing.com and get a 5% discount. Use the Precision 5 coupon code. Butt Kicker products add incredible immersion and realism to every game. For every nuance, Troy, put yourself in the driver's seat. Moranis is a performance lifestyle brand motivated by motorsport and founded by professional race car driver Daniel Morad. For more information, visit moranis.com. Mr. Hedge iRacing Photography. Capture your finest, proudest, or simply worst moments from your hobby up to 8K resolution. A great addition to any sim racing room. And by Advanced Motorsports. Get ready to learn to be fast with Advanced Motorsports. Follow them on the socials to become a better driver. And with that being said, still a minute to go in qualifying. A small grid in trucks tonight, Derek, but it's still going to potentially put on a feisty race with some of these throwback schemes also mixed in.
Yeah, a lot of different paint schemes we can talk about tonight as the night goes on, and you'll see different people representing different ideas or throwbacks or favorite schools or what have you. But here's a good old classic Whataback. Looks like the Whataburger truck. And there's the 28 that's burnt there on the track. So, JP, lots of stories to tell tonight, in this race. Not just the track, not just how tough the track is, but listen, even if you're not fighting for the win in points, you're fighting for some pride, maybe a little bit of bragging rights to come into next season when everything changes. So we'll wait and see how that goes. All these laps I've seen right now, I believe, JP, are just more practice laps around this track. And JP, if there's a track you need to practice at, it's probably this one.
And a lot of people are slamming those walls down. Those walls going to be very tightly compact. Let's take a look at how they'll start here tonight for this one. Do have 16 entries. One more driver entered late for tonight. Jamie Graham making the start from the pole tonight. Andrew Sharp will start in second. Third spot, Patrick Calgill with Brent Adams right now in line for the championship in fourth. Mike Richter and Zach Panzarella amongst your top six. Phil Beaver starts off in seventh. Mike Toomer Jr. be in eighth position. Austin Hunter and Stacy Hunter your top 10. Dylan Smith will start back at 11th. Marty Calvert all the way back in the 12th spot. Rounding out the drivers setting qualifying times, Kyle Dewey. Your non-qualifying times, could Tom Massey, Zachary Byrne, and Alex Hillman. Those three were either unable to or not allowed to set qualifying times tonight. So, on that note, your keys to victory, first of all, Derek, as we look to close out the truck season in style.
Wow, precision is probably ironically the key to victory, despite the name of the league being a precision racing league. But the precision, because typically here, JP, the top line is the preferred line as far as speed around this track. It's how you're going to make passes. It's how you're going to get more speed. But boy, that top line comes with the risk of kissing this wall. And at some point, everyone may do it tonight, because that's sort of why we get our Darlington stripes. But you need to avoid that wall. That wall will kill speed on a run. But I think precision and just being confident in your moves will be a big factor.
Who are you watching out for the most tonight, especially knowing the championship likely in good position for Brent Adams as long as he runs and runs well?
Yeah, I'm really impressed by Jamie Graham. I think he probably has a great chance tonight of doing well. Starting from the pole always helps. Patrick Calgill probably feels like he has something to prove. He worked really hard to try to get in contention this season and just never really could make it happen. But there's some other names that have been really kind of sneaking in there week by week. Mike Toomer Jr.'s out there. Austin Hunter's had a great season. Marty Calvert and Philip Beaver with Philmar are both out there. So lots of stuff to look for tonight, JP. I think there's a lot of people who want to make a point as we head into a completely revamped Season 4.
Those revamps we'll try and get into later on in the broadcast tonight. So, we'll see how this all plays out, especially with the different looks tonight. It's been an exciting season overall, you can say, Derek, as it comes to a close tonight.
It's been exciting. It's been fun. It's been full of surprises, new names, returning names. So much has happened here. And listen, this is really just one of the most fitting tracks you could pick. I know PRL uses the official iRacing schedule to guide their schedule. So this wasn't picked. It just happened to land here. But there's not many more tracks you could say, JP, are fitting for a championship race than Darlington.
40 minutes up on the clock here tonight at Darlington on a very hot racetrack. 88 degrees Fahrenheit track temperature. 118 is the surface of that temp. Green flag is out. We're underway from Darlington. Clean first lap, already seen some separation with some packs. Jamie Graham setting the tone early. That second grouping, Burnt, Hunter, Hillman, and Amasi losing a lot of ground to start.
Yeah, I saw a few different drivers have some big problems in turn one, just how they were taking the line. Some of them were under that white hash. We can talk about the dangers of that later as we see a car waiting inside there. And that is the 11 at Hillman. But yeah, they're just maybe not as comfortable on the opening start as they wanted to be. You see Burnt kind of riding it up out of the corner to get that run. They're all trying to run down our leader here of Jamie Graham.
Graham able to qualify for the first time in several weeks, actually, due to qualifying penalties he's picked up from incident points. So we take a look at Zachary Panzarella. Panzarella, a different look from him tonight. We're already hearing Stacy Hunter has had to pit. He's already got a meatball flag.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at that, see what it's about. It's got a meatball flag. Means he must have had some damage, maybe hit a wall too hard, either in or out of the corner. We'll keep an eye on that, see what we can find. Here's that battle for the lead. Right now, Graham has put a comfortable margin on Andrew Sharp, who I believe also, JP, is in a new paint scheme this week.
Sharp in a different look here tonight. Looks to be a Kyle Busch throwback, but here's the thing. Instead of the certain brand that you would expect, how about replace all the certain brand with oval Ford logos to throw back?
It's kind of unique, isn't it? Here's what's going to happen to Stacy Hunter looking through the corner. Almost made contact with the 33. I think this got himself a little loose and a little wiggly in that corner. Man, I'm surprised that's a damaged meatball flag, JP. I mean, yeah, that was a hit to the wall, but not as hard as I would have expected in that moment. Well, you see on the bottom of your screen there on the left, he is still getting repairs done. Probably, I'm guessing at this rate, JP, broke a toe link in that machine.
And a black flag as well, it seems. So it's going to be a bit of a wait for him in the pit lane. But expecting one stopper here in this one on the gas. Expected to be about an 80 lapper. Here's the look on board.
I don't know if there was contact or if he got fearful of the contact. And I mean, don't be wrong, that's a hard lick into the wall, but I'm surprised that broke anything. I think I've seen harder hits than that at Darlington before. But back to the front here. So there's that new look Andrew Sharp. He's now closed that gap a little bit. And look at this, they're both right in the top line. Now the problem that Andrew Sharp's going to face coming from the driver perspective is it's one thing to catch someone here, but darn it, passing someone here is so difficult. It's just like, I don't know how, I mean, I do know how you do it. You have to really almost pull a slide job. You have to get down in the bottom groove, get by them, and slide back up instantly to make a pass here, but it's just so tough to do. There's Andrew giving the peace sign. Thanks for watching, Andrew.
Still keeping the good rhythm despite having the peace sign put up. He is trying a different line compared to Graham. A little more squiggly that time to the corner, though.
Maybe even a little bit off the wall there a little bit, but that's part of the idea of racing at Darlington. You're going to scrub the wall at some point. I mean, very few trucks or cars or any machine leave this track without some kind of black stripe on that side of their vehicles, because of this, how this corner is built. Two very different corners, but yet both equally difficult in different methods. But look at Sharp trying to get a little lower through the corners than Jamie Graham, just trying to ride a little different so he can find something for himself.
Looked like Graham hit the wall himself, though. Let's take a look back at the other cars. This includes Mike Toomer Jr. with a different look to him tonight. Start of the college football season coming up during Labor Day weekend. Officially into trouble. Dylan Smith gets turned around. Marty Calvert also in the wall. No caution. We stay green.
Yeah, this track, unfortunately, with the way it's configured in iRacing, sort of anything below what you see in that white hash line there is almost considered off track, even down the straightaways, and it can lead to some problems of that nature. Dylan Schmidt, that truck, pardon me, is destroyed. I mean, that's just big calamity there as him and he got together with the with Marty Calvert there. Marty also in a new paint scheme this week. That's a very unique scheme. I don't recognize the college colors. I was waiting to see if I would recognize anything from it, but I don't think I do.
Yeah, right now, Calvert, significant damage. He's going to lose a lot of time from all that already front-end damage. Marty Robbins over the back into that truck. Here's Patrick Cowgill. He's hanging on to third, trying to keep that buffer right now over Brett Adams.
I mean, at this point, I would have to say with Hunter already laps down, now Dylan Schmidt in the pits, the only hope would have been for Panzarella or Cowgill for Brett Adams to have had some kind of lap one calamity where he finished dead last, and they had perfect night. So I think at this point, it's premature. We'll wait till the race is over. But I mean, right now, these guys are racing for second in the points here, but a lot of pride. Watch this again. Schmidt just got loose out of the corner, and he just came across the nose of Marty Calvert. I mean, Calvert was just really an innocent victim in that wreck.
Put him back to 12 for Calvert's case. Dylan Schmidt still in the pit lane getting repairs done, losing several laps without a front clip. Here's a look.
And that's an example not just of Darlington, but of any racetrack, Justin, and just how fast things happen, either around you or to you or involving you that you had no idea. A lot of times as spectators, we like to say, man, why didn't he check up? Or why didn't he move? Or why didn't he do this? Well, you just saw a great example from those camera shots. Great shout out for Dustin Ollis, for our producer, for catching all of those. But that's how fast things can happen here. But what's happening is fast is how fast our leader, Jamie Graham, is pulling away now. Look at that big gap. That was not the gap maybe, 5, 6, 7 laps ago. But he is slowly getting away from Andrew Sharp.
Right now, letting up to half a tenth to a tenth quicker a lap. We know Graham's got the speed to do this. It's just a matter of keeping clean. That's been the issue for some of the races this season for the 32.
And, you know, that's also been an issue for the 24. If you think of it, JP, and Andrew Sharp continuously, a P2 driver, just waiting to break that glass ceiling, if you will, waiting to get out of there and finally get a win. You know, if it's not this season, I suspect it happens in season 4. He just showing so much promise. But here, you started to talk about Zach Panzarella earlier before the wreck happened.
Yes, different paint scheme for him tonight. Very different colors as well, almost similar to that you would see for Philip Beaver.
Yeah, very different. In fact, he's doing his own throwback to one of his favorite drivers, the Jimmy Vasser kart scheme. So he's more of that, I guess we can use the name, the Superman look that Jimmy Vasser ran. So this is very different from Zach's. Had that dark hunter green all season, but wanted to do something different. A lot of drivers are using this Darlington week, oh my goodness, as their throwback. And JP, he hit that white line and almost threw it up on the wall.
Back straight away. Graham just hit the wall. He just slammed it hard from the race lead. Slams the door in front of Andrew Sharp in turn, but that just caused a bit of a spark.
Now the question will be, what damage does it do long term, either to the car or to Jamie Graham and his frustration in the car? Let's keep an eye here. Let's watch this here. Man, just rubbed it up against the wall. Luckily for him, JP, based upon the way that car just kind of held the wall and bounced a little bit, probably okay aerodynamics-wise. But man, he just put Andrew Sharp back in this race.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to hit the wall. A lot of these drivers I'm noticing not using that faster top line, preferring to run the bottom to keep it safe in 3 and 4.
Yeah, and that's the thing I talked about in the pre-race was that, yeah, that top line is faster, but it's only faster if you keep it off of the wall. Here's P4, Brett Adams with Mike Richter Jr., or Mike Richter, pardon me, behind him, not Jr. Sorry, Mike. And Mike's running in that Whataburger scheme. Brett in his typical, called an ocean water green look.
Yeah, right now Adams just needs to finish. Quite simple. In fact, just needs to turn laps, keep it clean, and be able to be dominated and get a championship. Adams having his best season ever, really, in the PRL this season.
Yeah, I've got 4 wins. Would love to put number 5 on the board tonight. You know, looking forward to next season and what may come of it, whether it's the playoffs or just racing with many, many more competitors in a different format. So he's excited. But right now, this is Cowgill, Adams, and Richter, 3, 4, and 5 on the track here. And they are just all over each other in this moment. And JP, this track is so hard. These corners right here are so narrow. It looks wide on the broadcast, but I mean, you and I both know when you get inside, whether it be the truck or the next-gen car or Grand National car, it doesn't feel that wide inside the driver's seat.
Absolutely right now. And Adams, it's one still's not afraid to use the top right now, but Richter trying to set up the pass to the low side still in this. 30 minutes away from the halfway point of this race as already back to single file. Of note, Graham, despite the wall contact, has settled in and regained the time that he had lost. Adams nearly slams the wall. Richter takes away the spot.
Yeah, Mike Richter recognized the contact and quickly got to the bottom and made the move. And, you know, JP, you and I have talked many times across the broadcast that I have this belief about the walls within iRacing. Some of them are huggers and some of them are bouncers. I mean, some of them, you touch it and it just like slams you off like a pinball. It just kind of puts you back across the track. And other tracks like Darlington, these walls will hug you. They will kill your speed. They almost hold you up there. And it's like you're glued in. It's difficult almost to get off that wall at Darlington. So if you can see someone like what we saw with Jamie Graham earlier, when he gets in the wall, it just kills any speed that truck has.
Hearing Calgio is getting very loose, is already let by both Richter and Adams by this lap. And that's one thing I've noticed. A lot of people manage to burn the rears off the tires here.
Yeah, that's what happens a lot, just I how hard people want to slide into these corners and how they don't maybe lift early enough, or just how hard they're pushing. Speaking of pushing, here goes this Philip Beaver up under Zach Panzarella. And look at this. That's too wide at Darlington, JP. That's how narrow it is. There's no way, if you're racing above the white stripes, that you can get a third track or a third car up there on the track compared to other places we go, like a Dega or a Pocono or even a Michigan. It's so narrow around here.
Looking back to Jamie Graham. The lead right now, 4/10. Was back up to 7/10. He seems to be having a hard time keeping it consistently maintained right now. He does have lap traffic to deal with it next too.
Yeah, and consistency is a hard thing about this track. I mean, listen, this is one of those tracks where these corners, I mean, they're shaped differently. You know, there's the pond in the corners, and the one set of corners that makes it harder to get through and much more narrow. Almost no one is consistent here, and that's not a knock on any of these drivers. It's just a knock on, you know, this track. You see now, Burns can get out of the way and let these guys race.
Good move once again by the green and yellow truck. Oh, in the wall. Oh. Austin Hunter just about collecting Kyle Dewey. Dewey able to avoid damage, but it did check him up.
Wow, he was already in the wall and almost got hit again from behind. So just saw a bit of a speed difference here. But now Panzarella's pulling away. Look at this. Panzarella now up here in P6. Has now more of a gap than we saw him have before. So this is the guy who won last season, JP. Had a memorable season, won a couple races. Has won this season as well. So nothing taking away from Zach Panzarella. And I feel like most seasons, had we not had just a dominant, a dominant race leader week after week, Panzarella would still probably be very much in contention.
Patrick Calgill just about wrecked it.
Man, oh man, that's as close as you can get right there. How he did not fin slap that wall on the inside is nothing short of impressive. That's, wow. Patrick, by the way, with that paint, JP, is throwing back to his first season in PRL. He's got a couple different sponsors this week, both his real-life employer and a company of a friend that he wanted to show off in the first season. And ooh.
Oh, and he's spinning again. This time he can't save it. Hard of the wall goes Calgill. And Calgill already out of the truck, towing it. His season likely coming to a close on that crash.
Wow, that's just crazy to think that he did that. You know, basically 2 laps in a row that he had those kind of problems. But that shows you just how weird these corners are. Let's watch it again here. All by himself, gets the white line right there. And what happens to him? Up on the wall. Oh, look, he's going to try to, yep. He tried to swing it way hard off the wall, I bet, JP. If we had a webcam on him, my goodness, that's a hard hit. You would have seen him trying to fight that car off of the wall, probably. And he just kind of fought it too hard and swung it way to the inside.
So another driver bites the dust. Zachary Bird also just completed a scheduled pit stop. Mind you, we are in the fuel window. Likely to make it to the end on laps, already near halfway through the race. Right now, Sharp still taking advantage of Graham's slip-ups here to keep things tight within 2/10.
You know, if I had a line of communication to Andrew Sharp right now, I would probably tell him, listen, you're a road racer. You focus on things like, you know, the overtake and undertake on pit road in road races. That's how you gain a lot of spots. I would do that here at Darlington. It's hard to pass. It's going to be hard to get around Jamie Graham. I would pit off cycle and see if I can make up some time on clean laps. I wouldn't try to keep fighting him nose to tail. Maybe pit before him or after him and hope that you can make something happen on pit road that helps us. Because I don't think getting behind his dirty air and sitting there all night long is going to get you anywhere.
Just keep things steady. Let's take the time, why don't we? We have Patrick Cowgill standing by already. Patrick, what happened in that sequence that ended your race potentially here?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I feel like the track temp and just this new physics that the trucks have, it's just not playing in my favor this year, or this season.
Overall, how difficult has it been as a result to be able to adapt to the change to the truck? It's been described almost a mix of several different vehicles and one stock car son. It seems like it's been a battle.
Yeah, it's been really difficult. Like, it's got this weird tight, loose feeling that I'm just not used to. Like, it's almost more like the B car, and I hate the B car. So, yeah, hopefully next season something changes and it becomes a little easier to drive.
So, what's the game plan on how you plan to now approach next season?
Probably spend some more time practicing if I can get any of it, but I know that racing against those fast guys, I'll probably be having a little bit more fun, which might make it a little easier, I guess.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Patrick. Unfortunate how things are looking here. 4 laps down at the moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it quits for the night because I'm just a menace out there.
Patrick Cowgill officially confirming he is going to be your second DNF of the evening. Marty Calvert during that also picked up a meatball flag after slamming the wall. Pit window was open for halfway. Here's why Calvert had to come in.
Oh, that's a wild slide. Oh my gosh, that's a hard hit to the right front. But he slid that thing about half a straightaway and then instantly got it down here. I noticed after this point, got it up on the banking for a moment, and then he's going to get it down below the white lines here and just brought it down the pit road. He had a repair flag already instantly from that. So I said the word of the night was attrition, JP. Or sorry, I said the word was precision, but now I think the word is attrition.
And we're seeing a lot of people pit here. Toomer Jr., Dewey, Panzarella also came down to try something different. Leaders aren't coming down. They've got a big buffer over the next drivers. Mike Richter just pit.
And the reason why I love those pit stops right there, we're basically right now at halfway. So those drivers know how the car behaved in the first half of this race. So the belief is now you know how the car behaves in the second half of the race because it's the same distance both times. Now the challenge that what Graham and Sharp are going to have here for the few laps, JP, until they pit, is they're going to have all these lapped trucks around them, or trucks trying to not to be a lap down that are much, much faster. And that can create a little bit of calamity and chaos and excitement for these drivers, as you see drivers all behind them here trying to make moves.
Just past halfway in the race on time, by the way. That was close. That was Stacy Hunter. It looks like Andrew Sharp taking advantage for a pit stop. He'll come in.
This is a very difficult pit entrance. Don't let anyone fool you. My goodness. That right now does not have a black flag from scoring. And I don't know how. That has got to be one of the crazier pit road entrances I've seen in a long time.
And Graham's going to have some people on faster tires behind him while dealing with traffic. Oh, that was a little bit of a tight window. Just in front of Austin Hunter on the pit stop. He takes it a little bit more cautious.
Well, a lot of times, you know, Justin, you or I will talk about there's time to be gained on pit road entrance and pit road exit. Let me tell you something. With how crazy that pit road entrance was, I'd have to think Andrew Sharp gained time right there. That looked way faster on camera than the Jamie Graham stop did. So we'll see how they cycle out right here. Here comes Sharp out of his pit box already. So we'll see how that goes. But man, that slide had to be scary in the truck, JP, because it looked a little scary just from that pit entrance camera.
Mike Richter cycling just in front of Zach Panzarella, by the way. Bingstone word, they are on the track. That's caused a bit of a battle here, but Sharp did keep the net advantage by several seconds over these drivers, back by 7 truck lengths. Right now, we'll see where Jamie Graham cycles here. He's off pit road, and zipping on by is Sharp, no problem.
A big gap, right? And that's a huge gap of time. Let's take a look at their total pit delta times. I don't have one for, let me find it for a second. I mean, Andrew Sharp, 49 seconds. That's line to line on pit road. Jamie Graham won less, 48 seconds. So it tells me that how fast Sharp entered pit road was the difference there. I mean, look at that, 1 second difference almost on their pit stops, you know, individually. So it tells you that speed that Sharp carried into the corner or into the entrance part of me meant a lot.
And a lot, to say the least. As Tom Massey got a lead lap in that sequence. Close out the pit window here. Sharp, Richter, Panzarella, Graham. The away top 4 lining up goes. And we'll really see here how fast Graham can be. He was up to a 10th quicker than the 24 before. Sharp trying to stay sharp for 16 more minutes of racing.
And there's something really beautiful about this scenario if you're the driver of that 24, because now you get to run your line. There's no one in front of you who's messing with your braking points. There's no one in front of you cutting off your line. There was no one dictating, you know, how you run, where you run, what you do, anything. This is you. At this point, if you're Andrew Sharp, it's almost you versus the track at this moment.
Still yet to get a win this season. He's missed a couple races as well. That's put him back as 11th. But he is the highest of those who have missed 2 races in the point standings this season. Looking to finish out strong in the next 15 minutes. But Graham is coming. He wants some spots back.
Remember, a lot of these drivers who right now you think they're not racing for something tonight, they are. Season 4 has this playoff format where, you know, season-long points do matter. So these drivers are still fighting for something. My goodness, Jamie Graham's being aggressive here. Now around Panzarella on the outside. That's the preferred passing lane, and Panzarella just kind of lets him by. So, you know, JP,
up to 3rd. Go ahead.
Sorry, we say it's the preferred passing lane because the speed you carry out of the corner at the top of Darlington versus trying to fight the bottom of that corner, you just carry so much more speed out of a corner that it's just easy to get a run, right? I mean, look at these guys. Now, earlier you talked about, maybe not from that camera shot, you talked about how drivers were on the bottom of the track. It looks like they are slowly moving up here.
Getting a bit more comfortable, if anything, it seems, with the racetrack. Temperatures have stayed about the same as the green flag, by the way. Altitude just dropped to 117 in the past minute or so. Graham knocking down time, 31.6s to the leaders, 30.7s.
That's an impressive time difference. I mean, that really is. So we'll see what he can do with that time over time. It's the next 14 and a half minutes tick away at this track. You see on your screen here. 2.5 seconds is the gap between them right now. You see that Graham is slowly gaining, but I'll be honest with you, JP, at that rate of gain, it's not enough. Graham's going to have to find something here, whether it's more speed, whether it's that, you know, Sharp finds lap traffic that slows him down or anything, because it's just not going to be enough to catch him. You know, it's funny for me to think about this track, JP. As difficult as these corners are, we originally didn't race on these corners. Those white hash marks or white stripes, if you will, on the corners, they used to race below those when this track first opened many years ago. It took a long time before someone figured out, hey, let's race up there.
Yeah. Remember, this track used to be the opposite way for where the start-finish line used to be down this straightaway, where they flipped it around in recent decades. It's changed the complexion of how a lot of the battles can turn out here. Graham, ready to battle for second. Can't get to the inside yet of Richter, but is on the bumper.
Very much on the bumper. And right now, Graham's got to be the one frustrated for the first time in a while with traffic at this track. Remember, he had Andrew Sharp all kinds behind him and was kind of holding up Andrew. And now he's kind of getting to feel what that feels like in that moment. Here he goes for the pass on the bottom. Let's see if he gets there. Coming into the corner. Yep, easily clears him. So he's back up to P2. Now it's just him trying to run down your current race leader, Andrew Sharp.
Needs to gain 3 seconds, so that's going to be easier said than done. 1 lap difference with the tires, and we know how tricky things were for Graham in the first place.
Yeah, it's had a couple incidents where he's been, scraping the wall or hugging the wall tonight, so that hasn't really helped anything. But right now, I mean, for Andrew Sharp, it's really just got to be clean laps are the story here. But I can tell you off track, by the way, Marty Calvert down pit road again. You see it on the left side of your screen, JP. So I think he is done. He's also called it a night here at Darlington.
Just parked it. He was already 9 laps down to the time. Still have less than 12 minutes to go. Some contact for Massey right in front of the leader.
I thought Sharp may have even kissed the wall back there a little bit as well with that back right side. So this will be the first test for Andrew right here. How fast can he clear these two? Now, if you're Andrew Sharp, these guys side by side is the last thing you want to see. You're like, please get in line, please get in line, please get out of the way. Anything. No disrespect, but please, let me have it. And then one truck does. That's Burnt, I believe, on the bottom. He went just letting by. Now the 62 is next. That's Tom Massey. Oh, wow.
Oh, that just cost him a ton of time. 1 second alone.
Well, almost cost him more than that. I don't know if you saw how much Tom Massey wiggled through that corner. I thought Tom Massey maybe was going to get loose there and cause bad things for Andrew Sharp.
That was near nightmarish, to say the very least. But now, we'll see what happens with Sharp in clean space. Graham, 1.1 seconds back now with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, it's definitely closed the gap here, but I think right now Andrew Sharp will be able to lock in here and just get comfortable. Andrew's a very well-decorated racer. He loves racing GR86s here on the service. It's been almost a year now he's been part of the Oval Series and came in here and learned a lot about how to drive a truck. It's a 24-hour Nürburgring winner. And look at that. This looks very calm. This looks very stoic. Looks very mild, might be the word. For having one of the best in the league, Jamie Graham, running him down, he looks just very chill in his seat.
Well, there is still an estimated 19 laps to go. It's too early to celebrate, especially knowing what can happen here. We'll see the tires equalize soon. But Panzarella, he's right now dealing with Brett Adams behind him. Adams on slightly fresher tires by 2 laps.
Yeah. So right now, this is a battle of really your top 2 in points. While this battle won't mean a lot as far as who finishes where, Panzarella could briefly, minorly close that gap, but right now it looks to be your Season 3 champion. It's out here running laps, just being calm and picking his battles in this moment.
And again, just needed to be able to show up and have a solid drive tonight. Guess what? He's had a solid drive, and now Adams is looking to get back into the 4th spot, picking his battles.
He seems very kind of even through that corner. He almost got in behind or up beside Panzarella there, but look how smooth he carried that corner. Just very little movement in that truck. Just kind of held almost the same line all the way through. See what happens again here. Watch him just use that, really that third seam, if you will, that second seam, pardon me, if you will. He does well. Now he's going to get around Panzarella. Panzarella says, hey, go on by. Will. Well, a motto for this track is the track too tough to tame, and right now that appears to be the case for a lot of drivers, JP. The casualty list is pretty high compared to most of our races. Dylan Schmidt's still pitting from that big damage. Patrick Cowgill is out. Marty Calvert's out. Zachary Burnt now 5 laps down. Stacy Hunter laps down. Tom Massey 2 laps down. A lot of drivers appear to be having a tough time here at Darlington.
Well, it is a driver's track, and you need to be amongst the best of the best if you want to drive well here.
And I think this is a very polarizing track too, JP. There's a lot of drivers who love this track. And oppositely, there's a lot of drivers who really just do not like this track. Oh, man. Look at that. That was almost like the old Ross Chastain line from a couple years ago as Jamie Graham was trying to get around there. But a lot of drivers really, I think, get in their head that they don't like the track. The track is too hard. It's tough. And it is tough. But I think sometimes when you get those thoughts in your head before you ever hop in the car to practice, it sort of becomes, I guess, like a self-fulfilling prophecy where you've convinced yourself this track is too hard. You've convinced yourself it's undrivable. And, well, it's going to be because that's the expectation you have in your head.
Graham is starting to fall apart here. Graham is losing the tires here. He's pushed them too hard. He is losing ground and fast.
Yeah, last time by, Sharp was about 1/10 of a second fast. So you see the times here on the board for the first time. Red is the color on the lap comparisons for Jamie Graham. He is losing some time. It's now back to 1.5 seconds. And the number of times that Graham has really just come through there scrubbing the wall either in the middle of the corner or out of the corner. I think he did maybe burn up some equipment trying to get back to Sharp. And maybe has nothing left here. With about 6.5 minutes left, though, if you are Jamie Graham and you're praying for a caution, it's got to happen right now, because at about the 4-minute mark, I don't think this thing goes green again.
Still 6 minutes to go on the clock, though. And it's looking great for Andrew Sharp, looking for his first win of the season. Up to 2 seconds the gap. He played the pit strategy perfectly to get himself in the spot.
That has got to be one of the craziest pit entrances I've seen in a long time by someone in the PRL in the trucks. I mean, just the way he carried speed, the angle he came in, how just he was, I mean, I guess the term you'd use, JP, is full send. I mean, he was fully committed to that pit stop, and it really could have gone bad. He couldn't have been more than just at the speed limit when he got to the cone. But that difference of how much speed he carried in versus Jamie Graham is probably why he has this 1.5 second lead.
Has a lot of lap traffic to get through right now. He's already lapped by Hillman, Austin Hunter, at risk of losing a lap as well. Kyle Dewey is at risk of losing a lap by the end of this one. How things have gone. And you have to give credit to the field, even with the incidents so far, Derek. No cautions.
Yeah, no cautions. Maybe a couple, you could argue a couple should have been cautions, but with the way this track is laid out, that's not happened at all. So it's been a clean race, and we've been green flag all the way through so far. Here is your leader. Possibly the last pass he should have to make in this race on a lapped car here. And they're going to go side by side, and man, if I was Andrew Sharp, I might back out until the straightaway. I don't know if I'd risk that in the corner when I'm on the verge of my first PRL oval victory here in this moment. But he's going to stick with it and get through here. Well, JP, you and I talked about, of course, in a lot of ways, we're sunsetting the formats of these races after tonight for the trucks and the Grand Nationals. Next season, there are no Grand Nationals. It's one big truck league. Right now, they have 43 committed drivers in that truck league. 60-minute races. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how 43 drivers from a mix of the truck drivers and the Grand National drivers from the next race handle these races.
qualifying is going to be the crazy thing, I think. Track position is going to be critical so much, especially with a stacked field like that.
Yeah, and then, so give you a brief preview here. Your official schedule, week 1, Kansas. Then we go to Talladega, Vegas, Iowa, and Homestead. Those are the first 5 races. 2 mile-and-a-halfs, a super speedway. You know, you get Iowa in there, which is kind of a short track, kind of not. You know, and then Homestead. It's a very wild schedule that's going to test those drivers. By the way, after that, JP, is Martinsville. Can you just imagine 43 PRL trucks at Martinsville?
I can imagine the calamity. It's going to be a battle just to be able to get the laps, I can say that.
I'd agree with that. So 60 minutes next season. That'll be a change for these drivers. For the truck drivers, that's 20 more minutes than what they've done already. It's going to be a difference in how you handle your pit strategy, just a difference of endurance in a way. 20 more minutes in the truck doesn't sound like a lot until you do it. But when you're in a tight battle, even if you're racing around Darlington for 20 more minutes, that could wear you out. But on battle right now, or on track right now, pardon me, Philip Beaver is trying to run down Panzarella. Panzarella wants to end this season on the top 5, wants to carry some momentum into next season, and a top 5 would help him do that.
Looking at the battle going on for the 5th spot. Phil Beaver quietly's done very well tonight. Hasn't had a loud night, but he's been getting better and better as this race has gone on with 2 minutes to go.
And by the way, with Calgill out of the race and Philip Beaver's up here in P6, Marty Calvert is finishing a spot ahead of Patrick Calgill. I would have to think right now, without doing the math, that remember, Philmar and Final Drive came into this race tonight tied in points and team standings. I would have to think probably the advantage goes to Philmar.
Not sure.
Yeah, but wait.
You know why? Because Calvert is the reason I'm not sure. But then again, Dylan Schmidt also DNF'd the DDI camp. That's going to cause things to shuffle there. It's going to be an easy and interesting thing on who's going to win the team title.
I mean, Daily Drivers right now came into tonight with about I think a 20-some point lead, and with Pandarella up in P5, that seems kind of done. So I don't know. Like, it's gonna be kind of crazy, though. You're right in a lot of methods of who does what, who finishes where, and we'll wait and see how it all pans out here. So that will be some of the stories to tell. And listen, those team titles mean a lot in this league. Any kind of momentum, any kind of honor, awards you can have in this race can mean a lot for bragging rights.
2 to go. 2 more times around for Sharp, 2 more times around for Brett Adams on the way to the championship. As Sharp looks to close out what's been outright speedy from him on the oval tonight. While Brett Adams looks to close out an outright dominant championship year.
Sorry to cut you off. I'm curious when Sharp's face cracks here. If we can maybe pull up the webcam, I'm curious when that moment of just relief or elation hits his face here. So we come around to the white flag. 1 lap to go here at Darlington. Look at it, still just very locked in. Maybe it hasn't set in yet. I don't know. We'll wait and see when that moment hits here. Is it going to be when he crosses the line? When he gets out of 4? Oh, there's the big smile. He might have figured it out. That he is now likely going to win his first PRL oval race here at a very, very difficult track.
Through 3 and 4, Andrew Sharp plays the strategy right, sends it deep through pit lane, gets to celebrate. He wins at Darlington. All of that's wow. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. The 23 truck of Brett Adams will come out of the corner. His best year in the PRL ends with the championship.
What an awesome race by both those drivers. By Sharp for his first oval win, by Adams to secure that points win. And maybe he didn't win tonight, but 4 wins in a season out of 9 races by Brett Adams. That's an accomplishment.
And the cool down lap, seen a lot of celebratory congratulations for drivers. As they get ready to burn out, let's quickly look through the results. Just 16 drivers tonight. Andrew Sharp takes the win. Graham, Richter, Adams, Panzerell at the top 5. Beaver, Toomer Jr., Dewey, and Hunter Hillman, your top 10. Rest of your drivers, Amasi, Stacy Hunter, Zachary Burt, Marty Calvert, Patrick Calgill, Dylan Smith. The burnout just took an interesting turn. Andrew Sharp just crashed into Brett Adams.
That's not really a burnout. It's maybe a sign that Andrew needs to win a couple more races so he can learn how to do the burnout here.
Just trying to burn it on down in the way he, well, feels like it. All he said on the radio is, let's go! And, well, he is still not letting go of the throttle.
There it is. Almost got it there. We almost got a donut going.
Let's take the time to talk to Andrew Sharp. He's already standing on beside us. As Andrew, you've done it. You've picked up the win. How does it feel to win on an oval?
Oh, it's such a relief. It's oh god. I have a lot of respect for oval drivers now. It's a lot. So this one feels good.
It was an intense battle. Go ahead, Derek.
Sorry. Do you understand that you just came out and won at what I think is possibly, and Justin, you can speak in as well, one of the top 3 most difficult oval tracks on the schedule, and that's where you got your first win.
Bangers. Yeah, this track is a lot of fun, and definitely a tricky one. But you know, it's about time, and I'm glad I was able to pull it together tonight.
Talk to us about the strategy, then how you played it out, and that pit send. You nearly crashed it.
Oh yeah. I was like, oh, this is it. Like, it's another one in the bag. It was a little sketchy there, but I saw the traffic in front of Jamie, and I was like, all right, this is my only chance to do it, to try and do the undercut, and just right on the edge. So barely pulled it off, and then that created enough of a gap to be able to just ride in some clean air, and that was all I needed.
So overall, how would you describe your season as it comes to a close here tonight for 2024 Season 3?
This was the season I think I finally put a lot of the things together, like finally getting a lot of poles, back-to-back poles. Didn't get it tonight, but I think like just overall figuring out the tire wear. So hopefully next season come out full guns blazing and put in some work.
Well, Andrew, any shells you'd like to give on the way to this championship? Or rather, to this win?
Yeah, not the championship. I'm not that good. But shout out to the Battle Bus Racing boys, Kyle and Matthew. And then shout out to the Vermilion Motorsports boys as well. Just a ton of fun racing with them all season. Ton of fun racing in this league. And shout out to Brett as well for a great championship.
Once again, Andrew Sharp comes away with the win tonight. Jamie Graham. He led the way in the first half of the race. He's with Derek.
Well, Jamie, what a sort of battle of 2 races it was in a weird way. You led the first half of the race, and then maybe you got, I guess the word would be out pit stopped by Andrew. Have you seen the Andrew Sharp pit stop yet? Can I ask that question? You are muted, by the way. I don't know if you are here. No, Jamie Graham. Okay, well, let's do this, JP. Let's switch it up if you don't mind. I'm going to put Jamie back here for a second. And let's go ahead and grab our points winner for the season. Brett Adams, 4 out of 9 races is how many you won this season. And you are the Season 3 champion.
Thanks, Derek. Feels awesome to be the champion. I've been doing this. Patrick told me that this season, this would have been my 109th race, I think. In the first 100, I had 2 wins, so to double that just in the last 9 races is pretty awesome.
Do you think it's just tracks you enjoyed? Is it something you figured out with the new truck model? Maybe a little luck? What do you think contributes to this?
I mean, all that, yeah. I think the new model fits me pretty well, but this season lined up with tracks that I really like, IRP and Milwaukee and a few others. So that certainly helped, and then backed into a win here or there, but overall just kept it consistent and really had a great time.
So now we'll get a few weeks off for the off season. We get a preseason, and we come back, and it's Kansas, Dega, Vegas, Iowa, and Homestead are the first 5. Which of those excite you?
Homestead and Iowa, I think, are up there. Both of those should be a lot of fun. But also looking forward to having the the full field 43 cars and all those guys in it. Should be a great time.
Wow. What an incredible season. It's been an honor to watch you do it. It's just, at times, pure domination, at times, competitiveness. It's possibly one of the craziest seasons, but congrats on your title.
Thank you very much. And if I could, just quick shout out to everybody watching, my son Parker, my wife Lindsay, my mom and dad, and my brothers from AFR. And of course, you guys for putting on a great show every week, and PRL for hosting us.
All right, well, Brett, once again, congrats, and we'll see you next season.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, JP, I think our technical problems are fixed, and I think you are now with Jamie Graham.
Yes, let's try this now with Jamie Graham. Jamie, do you have a copy?
I do. Do you got me?
Yes, we do. How are you feeling? The second place run tonight, you led much of the way early on and still come away with the podium.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good night. This is my home track, so I was really excited to get to race here. Really fast out of the gate, like y'all mentioned, led a lot of laps. Definitely held up Andrew. That was kind of the name of the game, pretty much from practice. I knew he was going to be the truck to beat. And like y'all asked me while I was muted, he just out-pit stopped me, which is, good on him. I should have known better than to think that he was going to call out his pit. So I was relying on a competitor to give me his strategy, and that wasn't the move. So probably should have pitted 2 or 3 laps earlier when I considered it, but we didn't. Came home second. And yeah, I mean, I'm not disappointed with it. Definitely would have loved the win in the hometown track, but second's not bad, especially after how this season's been, midway through.
Geraldo, how would you describe this season in your first in the PRL, and why?
It was really enjoyable. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, of course, there were ups and downs, and y'all covered it pretty well. But I think that's just part of it. I've definitely learned a lot. This is a really good group of dudes to learn around to. They're very forgiving, really considerate. I still have good relationships with everybody, which is great. That's super important. So, yeah, just going to take this off season and continue developing and get ready for next season when we introduce the Pro-Am split and just continue to, build on success. This P2 is a good starting position, so we'll build up from here.
Indeed. Well, on that note, anyone you want to give a shout out to here tonight?
Absolutely. Special sponsor on the car tonight. So shout out to Uncle Walt and Aunt Cackle, my wife's aunt and uncle. They are sponsoring the truck tonight. They also sponsored it last week. But Martin Farms out here in Ruffin, South Carolina, a little crop farm, just doing their best to get going. So shout out to them. Obviously, the big shout outs every week is to Bone Pool on Twitter, Cardano Shep on Twitter. Anything NFT, crypto, those are your guys. So big shout out to them, and obviously my family for watching and supporting me and this little fun thing we got going on.
Congratulations once again on the run tonight.
Thank y'all. I appreciate it.
Jamie Graham coming away with a same for Mike Richter. Mike Richter is next in the pecking order. He's with Derek.
Mike, I think the first key tonight is you survived the race, which I didn't think was a problem for tonight, but a lot of drivers could not accomplish that. How did you manage to survive the race and keep it off the wall?
I tagged the wall a few times, but first off, I want to say happy birthday. My dad turned 80 yesterday. He's always watching, and he's in the hospital. So speedy recovery. Hope he's doing good. And I know him and my mom are watching. So first, I want to say that. I didn't have short run pace. Like I didn't have a lot of speed in the short run, but I had long run speed. So that's where I was able to get positions and just back up the corners and stay off the wall. So I was managing better than I guess some people. I haven't watched it yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, attrition sort of became the word of the night in some ways. But what a tough track. Is this a track you enjoy, or is this a track you sort of circle as one that you kind of wish we didn't do?
No, I like this track. It's challenging, and with the truck change and everything that's happened, I guess I've had a better result. So I'll take it. It was a lot more demanding, a lot tougher to drive, and I liked it. I think the new update with the trucks, it's benefiting me, and bringing some of the other drivers that aren't normally competitive into the mix, and it's good.
All right, Michael, we got a couple weeks of break. You guys have a preseason race at Bristol, and then week 1 back here at Kansas. we're looking forward to seeing you.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right, Mike, have a good night. All right, JP, that is P3 and Mike Richter. And I believe that may just about wrap up this portion of the broadcast.
Yes, it does. It wraps up the truck portion of the broadcast here tonight, but we still have more Darlington on hand because guess what? It's the Grand National Series and their season finale now on the track. And let's talk about their season so far because that championship battle, Abner Acosta has been the one in control, but Zach Kerr and Bradley Hawley are still within a race distance. They're still battling for second.
Yeah, and look at the battle here all the way up and down. And Holly and Lowendick are in the battle together for third and fourth. Jeff Ward is right there. James O'Brien. Thomas Sink and James O'Brien are tied. Ross Cato, James Morgan. Up and down the board. I mean, you said right now, this points title is not locked in. Technically down, I think, to Lowendick, but that's a high unlikelihood. But Zach Kerr could really walk away with this tonight. Let's take a look at the team points as well. This one here, we're only 4 points apart. Whataback TNT and Private Label Team Hype, 4 points apart here. Those are the two fighting for the team title. Then it's Whataback Overdrive, Tabula Rasa with Hyperion right behind them. Whataback Back Row, Six Box, Bluegrass, Fast Forward, and Boss Man Racing. Your top 10. By the way, small bit of breaking news, JP. I have it here that Boss Man Racing is Mark Kalin. Bluegrass Racing is Jeff Ward. Jeff Ward has recruited Mark Kalin. So Bluegrass right now, if you add those points together, if they were a team this season, would be very much in the battle.
That's going to be an interesting one for the future to keep an eye on, absolutely. Put them inside the top 4 if they were combined for this year. But 3.5 minutes to go in qualifying in a bit of a larger field here. 23 entrants to close out the season. Fastest in final practice. It was Richard Regan Jr. who led the way in the session.
And I have to get this correct, because apparently when you were not here last week, JP, I may have had an issue with Jeff Ward and Jeff Evans and confused the two a couple times, but it is currently Jeff Ward. No, it was Jeff Ward up on the pole before Zach Kerr took it, as we're riding on board with Dustin Bumgarner. I got a lot of comments last week about my confusion of the two Jeffs, so maybe you'll do better this week.
Dustin Bumgarner having some moments here in this qualifying run. He is towards the bottom of the board and already complete his run. It's going to be a race here. You would expect track position to be critical. It's going to be even harder to pass here than the truck.
And yeah, with more cars on the track, it'd be even a little bit harder. Jacob Dunn almost up to the wall there, and that purple number 3 machine here brings it back down. Whoa, that's a big slide.
Able to hold on to it, saves it though. The second lap is going to be a wash from that. Ross Cato put up 10th to start off the run. Not looking comfortable. The clouds are keeping the track a bit cooler than normal here for this run.
Which you would think, by the way, that would help these drivers in some way, because the cooler track would mean more grip, but these guys are just pushing it really hard. It's a difference of how this car drives versus the truck is really the difference we're seeing here. But Ross Cato, by the way, one of the busiest drivers in league racing I know of. He has a league race at least 3 nights a week.
Ted Lowendick, he's in the wall. That's a nope for the qualifying run. He's still on his warm-up lap at least. But already showcasing how easy it is to wash up and hit the wall.
Yeah, and Ted would need to have the perfect night, and would need Abner Acosta to have the worst night ever for Teddy to have a chance at this title. But right now it's Richard Regan on top of the board. Let's see what Teddy does around the track here. Going to come down into this tight corner, keeps it above the white lines. Is he going to diamond the corner? Exactly, and that's an interesting strategy, JP. I know you've talked to me about in the past about either diamonding or maybe even double diamonding a corner to be successful.
That is the line, especially for 1 and 2. Lowendick doesn't seem like he's got the turn or rotation to be able to get the double diamond down. That's going to hurt his run. He's in 7th.
As he just barely under the white line there, the car's going to start to move up a little bit, but he has a pretty good control, and let's see how he comes here. A 35.17 the first time, and this time slightly better, a 4.62, and that will put him up in P5.
James Morgan putting up his qualifying run. Bradley Hawley has not put up a qualifying time. In fact, he's elected not to qualify. That's going to be an interesting note for tonight. The guy are Jose Medina, Paul Williams II, the others who did not set times for this session. Let's take a look at the starting grid for tonight. From the place they could all too tough to tame. Regan Jr. Ward on the front row tonight. 13 1,000's the difference. Costa, Jeff Evans in row 2. Row 3, 10 Lowendick and Daniel Knight puts up a 6th place run. Colton Lane starts 7th alongside Ross Cato. Zach Kerr with the Jimmy Johnson throwback tonight alongside Adam Semke. James Morgan and Doug Evans start off in the 12. Mike Knight and Nathan Deering, Jacob Dunn and Mark Kalin far back in the field. Then Dustin Bumgardner and Thomas Sink starts 18th. Last set time, Rodrigo Morales, not allowed to qualify or not electing the set times include Hawley, Williams II, Medina, and Geyer form tonight. So talked about the running order as the drivers now make the way to the starting grid. First things first, your keys to a good run tonight.
Well, based on what we've seen in qualifying and how loose some of these cars are, I believe control will be important here tonight. I mean, we saw a little bit in the truck race as well, that drivers who are maybe a little bit more aggressive or what have you, had some unfortunate endings to their race. And I think that will probably carry over here into this race as well. So controlling this car, and I think now we've seen maybe that pit stop is more important than we thought.
Who are you watching out for the most here tonight and why?
Well, this isn't exactly a short track, but it does feel like a track that probably benefits Richard Regan pretty well. He is your current pole sitter, so that sort of proves that in his own way. Ross Cato had a pretty successful night here, granted in the Next Gen Cup cars a couple nights ago, so he probably has something to prove to himself. But I also feel like, a lot of times when we come to these classic tracks, JP, it's very hit or miss for Mark Kalin. This could be one of those classic Mark Kalin tracks where maybe he makes something happen for himself. So we'll wait and see. A few drivers really to look at, but I mean, obviously the big ones to look at will be Abner Acosta, who qualified P3, and Zach Kerr in P9. Those are your two most likely point title winners at the end of this night.
And so we roll. Again, this is going to be likely the last Grand National race for a while, Derek. Emotion's going to be running high for some of the field.
Yeah, I mean, this is really emotional for a few guys, a few drivers. A lot of them expressed their opinions about this, going away. I think the benefits, of course, is a bigger field next season, a longer race, a more competitive race. But there are some drivers in this field who really do love this vehicle, and they are sad that maybe it's going away now. Listen, in the terms of PRL, who knows? But for right now, this is the sunsetting of the Grand National Series. So I said in the last race, a track full of history, full of tradition, full of memories, and these guys get to kind of make one of their own and be the last winner of the Grand National Series.
Happy to have you with us here on Race Spot for the Grand National Series. Richard Regan Jr., front row with Jeff Ward. All set to go racing from the place they call Too Tough to Tame. Richard Regan Jr. hits the green, we're underway from Darlington. Couple back straight away. One driver nearly into the wall. That was Dustin Bumgardner. We stay green. Mike Knight also dropped to the apron. Everybody else keeps it clean to start.
Look at this, how quick they are. Single file, that top lane really moving here for the moment. Takes you pretty far back to find your first car. It's too wide. Everyone's kind of running their line for the moment here. There's a pass on the inside. Nice job there by that black car inside. And Nathan Deering is a different paint scheme this week. Almost didn't recognize him. Nathan Deering with a great pass there. Yep, that's the 4.
Now back to a rhythm they go. Ted Lowendick got top 5 in the end after some of the wall contact in the qualifying session. He tries to stay in the choo-choo train.
Yep, he's doing a great job right now in line. You see Richard Regan leading them around, and everyone just kind of slightly closer or further apart from that wall, car by car. You kind of hold your breath every time, hoping none of them are really going to make any big contact. There's a little bit of contact there. That's Jeff Evans in that Ohio State Buckeyes paint scheme. He made almost a little bit of contact with Abner Acosta, and I think Ted Lowendick had to check up. That's why he's on the inside here coming into this corner.
Ted loses a spot this time to Daniel Knight indeed. Everyone else gave him a big break. Dustin Bumgarner having some more moments at the back. Let's take a look.
This is what you saw back in lap 1. Oh, hold on, caution's out. Let's come back to this in a second, but caution is out, JP, on the track, and only about 3 minutes in.
It's for Dustin Bumgarner.
That what you saw, folks, was a replay, but I believe Bumgarner's been involved again here, so we'll get them all racked up and see what happens. As he got turned around, hard to see what happened behind him. That green and yellow machine behind him may have been involved as well.
Jose Medina also collected in the Jeff Gordon paint scheme tonight. So those two picking up significant contact for the yellow flag. Let's take a look.
This is from Jose Medina here. Whoa, and oh, I think the 16 may have just not been clear, JP. I think the 16 started to come up, and really, I mean, short of Jose Medina leaving the track, he could have been much higher.
So our first yellow of the night. We're having Dodson Geyer and a couple others also elect to come down. Interesting strategy. We only ran about 4 or 5 laps tonight.
Yeah, I'm guessing this is gas only for Dalton Geyer. He was not involved in that caution as far as I could tell. Let's watch him come down here. There's no way he needs to change tires. Oh no, he does lift tires. I'm a little surprised. But I mean, this right now for me, if I was in this car, would just be a gas stop. Why not? Why not come in, top off the gas in case we go green? And listen, this Grand National Series is known to go green. Dalton Geyer, by the way, really pushing the commitment line. I was trying to think of a good word for it, and I got one of my ears, pushing the commitment line, but why not come in and top off the gas? You're already in the back of the field, and in case it goes green, you know, you got a couple more laps of gas to play with the field later and see what happens.
Absolutely.
All right, well, let's see if we can get this right. Your top 4, Richard Regan, that's easy. Jeff Ward, University of Kentucky, in 2. Abner Acosta and Private Label Team Hype in 3. Jeff Evans in Ohio State Buckeyes scheme in P4. I'm going to get this right tonight because I'd say, JP, the amount of criticism I got from Jeff Evans last week was unreal.
Looks like we're already almost set for the restart soon. It is 1 to green. Colton Lane running with the Tennessee Vols paint scheme tonight. Bit of a change for the Mark Martin look.
Yeah, really a downgrade, if you ask me, from the Tennessee Volunteers look. I know it's the alma mater and favorite school of our producer, Dustin Ollis, but, you know, what have they done lately?
Huh.
I mean, they beat Alabama a couple years ago. I mean, you know.
Everything was the answer in our ears.
All right, well, here we go. About to get started, as you said, JP, and not much change in the running order. Everyone kind of stayed single file. I would expect the same to happen here on this restart. Everyone to get single file, but what I'm curious if anyone noticed is they need to make moves fast before that line forms, because once that line forms, it's harder to pass.
Do this again here. Regan Jr. and Ward on the front row. Green flag is out, back on our way. And a clean launch for the 56. 2 by 2 in some parts of the pack.
See how quickly they settle that here. They're still 2x2 through the corner, starting back in about P4, P5, and then on back you'll see it scattered 2 wide racing. See Lowendick's on the bottom down there. Many others. Contact to 42 and 57, 57 sliding. And then he got it saved up there, but he almost really crushed Jacob Dunn to the wall with how hard that car was sliding.
Nearly squished Kerr into the wall as well. Dunn able to hold on for now. Tamarasa Machines now 9th and 10th with that situation. Kerr not having the greatest of races that you would expect. We've seen Kerr be very strong on most of the ovals. Now he's under attack by Kalen.
Under attack, right? You see Kalen back there in that 62 and that blue Kentucky Wildcats style paint. That's the second of those. We mentioned it last week that him and Jeff Ward both have University of Kentucky. That's why they're merging next season for Bluegrass Motorsports. And watch this. Oh my gosh, that was close.
Big wiggle in front of the field right underneath Dunn.
And you would think, JP, that some people think, pardon me, that for Dunn that was scary. The likelihood is Dunn had no idea how close he was to just being crushed into the wall.
Right now, a lot of people still trying to settle on in, including Bradley Hawley. He's gone from 20th to 14th. You also have this battle going on. Jeff Evans up top shelf. Oh, and a big checkup on Daniel Knight forced him loose.
Oh. Knight really got down on the track there. And now he's going to try to merge back in. He'll lose a spot on Lowendick. He'll now be under attack by Colton Lane in that University of Tennessee volunteer style machine, and even under attack by James Morgan on the bottom.
So right now, everyone else wrapping it up top shelf. How is it trying to find that balance to be able to drive this track without overexerting these tires?
And that's the battle. I mean, and the good news is by doing the top lane, you're sort of helping yourself in that nature because you're not maybe turning the wheel as much as you would if you were racing in the bottom lane. So that can help you a little bit. We see the side-by-side battle here. That's Zach Kerr on the outside trying to make his way through the field here. But I think that the top shelf racing does help that in a sense to where, you know, you're not turning the wheels hard, but then you have to think about, you know, how hard are you throwing in the corner? Are you using your brakes? Are you slamming the brakes? What are you doing to make it happen? I mean, but tire conservation is very,
Trouble,
very
Zach Kerr. He's turned around in the heart of the corner. No caution yet as he and Nathan Deering crash. No caution.
Deering now is going to back it up here. So I'm going to explain to you what's happened, and I know you know this, Justin, but explain it for the viewers, is right now, at every track, iRacing has been determined to be on track and off track. And at Darlington, the on track is pretty narrow. In fact, that white stripe you see there is a great indicator of what is quote-unquote on track. Anything above that to our now camera right is on track. Anything now, again to the right, is below it is off track. So let's see this wreck again. This is Zach Kerr. He's going to get into the 57 again. They're both going to wiggle. I don't know how that's not a caution. I said off track and all this other stuff, but I mean, he's parked right in the middle of the corner. That's, you know, don't be wrong. That's not. There's no human making this decision. That's a computer generated decision, but that's absurd.
Yeah, he did
that's
go around
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars involved, right?
Didn't go around fully, but we've seen 45 degrees trigger a caution here.
And you know why that stinks more? Oh, done. Whew. You know why that stinks more, JP? Hold on. Let's bring this back for a second.
Jacob Dunn in the wall. He's not having a fun time out there.
That's not the word he used, but I can't repeat the word he used. But, you know, and why that stinks more, by the way, for Zach Kerr, he came into tonight, you know, 20-some points out of a points title. And, yeah, maybe you'll argue that even with the wreck he's damaged and it was, you know, quote-unquote unrealistic. Watch this thing from Dunn again here. Watch him up in the wall, slams that wall. And then Ross Cade and others kind of scattered. Jacob Dunn was trying to move the wall here at Darlington, but for Zach Kerr, that just killed his championship hopes. That is disappointing in so many words.
Keep an eye up front. Morgan trying to find a way to use the top side to his advantage. Can't seem to build the run yet. Up front, Jeff Ward, he's found a run. He's side by side with Jeff Evans. And now Evans is in the wall.
Hard in the wall and just getting scrubbed there. Oh no, he's going to turn to 17. No caution again.
And more drivers crash. Morgan below the yellow line. Engine's gone.
Daniel Knight and James Morgan are both without a motor. Oh.
How there's no caution, I'm not sure there.
Yeah, there has to be something done about this before we come here again. There has to be something fixed about this track or an admin decision here, because right now that's got to be 10 plus cars affected by very obvious cautions. That's something. Well, right now, up front, Richard Regan being chased down by Abner Acosta is the battle we've seen all season. That's the front view what happened. I'm curious to see if we can see the back view from Jeff Evans' point of view, and it was up in the wall. But right now, Daniel Knight is dead right there. James Morgan had a motor that was dead. He was able to wheel it back around. But both those drivers are done, and still no caution. Well, as I said, Abner Acosta is going to try to run down Richard Regan. And we've seen this before, JP.
Ping pong effect, and a lot of people turned around there. Again, the wow factor on, to say the least. Richard Regan Jr. still your leader. Abner Acosta keeping him close. Both of them running 31.7s at the moment. Fall off nearly a second. Here's Morgan's view.
Watch, this is how fast things happen in racing. Morgan thinks he's, tried to avoid it. Nowhere to go, right? It's an unfortunate way to end an evening here. And here's his teammate Jacob Dunn up on the top lane again as they run around here, kind of come around to the line again. Dunn, still hugging that wall. Wow, Mark Brennan way to the inside.
Yeah, that's going to bottle things up a bit. Kalen running 12th last time behind the stripe. Gets a bit squirrely underneath Mike Knight in the battle now for 13th.
Mark is really down there deep in that corner. That's got to be uncomfortable, I would think, to run that line. I've never tried to run that line before, and don't think I would. But that car can not handle well down there, I would think. But up top there, but he's making it work.
Making it work just enough right now to be able to keep inside the top 12. Top half of the field. Looking back at the leaders. Jeff Ward, he's trying to pick up the pace. He's a 10th quicker than the top two.
Yeah, he's doing a great job here. And Jeff Ward's had a great season overall. He's had some brilliant moments. He had a win. So, doing pretty well. We're back to this battle with Kalen and Dunn here, though. And Kalen doing a great job of keeping Dunn in his sights here. See Mark Kalen on camera here in that beautiful racing room. There's a lot of memorabilia in that room. Got the Lego set in the back, the Blaney flag, the posters and the pictures on the walls. It's a beautiful room there in Mark's basement.
Beautiful racing room, yes. Dunn lets him on by. Interesting enough, Mike Knight's got the fastest lap of the race so far. That is intriguing from the 68. Oh, and Dunn, he just had a moment. He just destroyed the wall.
Well, let's take a look at that and see what happened there. He's now going to come down pit road. I'm guessing he has what we call a meatball flag. Watch this. He's going to have a connection problem here. We're going to kind of fast forward here, but we'll wait and see. Well, tell you what, we don't have Jacob Dunn, but I want to talk for a second, JP, to James Morgan. James, you were part of a wreck there that involved Jeff Evans and others. What did you see as that wreck happened?
Yeah, as I was coming off of turn 2, it looked like they were pointed right toward the outside wall, so I thought they were going to stay in the racing line. And then Daniel and I, all of a sudden, I guess from the contact and everything, shot back left. And it ended up right directly in my path. Nothing I could do. I tried to turn to avoid it, but I had everything locked up.
No. I'm assuming the car is done for the night.
Maybe. It has 10 minutes required and like 20 minutes of optional or something like that. So yeah, it's pretty close. I'm going to try and see if I can make a couple laps and then see what happens from there.
All right, well, I know you need to go check on your teammate in a moment because he just had a moment as well. But I'm going to ask you, with us moving to the trucks next season, are you excited? Are you disappointed? What's your feelings?
Well, I've focused a lot kind of over the last year, as you know, getting more used to the Xfinity cars and everything. So I feel like I've gotten to a good spot where I'm really comfortable with them. So I'm kind of a little disappointed that we're going to the trucks, but it'll be a fun challenge. Got to get back used to those.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll see you in a few weeks at Kansas for the opening race in week 1. But I'm going to let you go catch up with your teammate and ask him what happened to his car.
10-4, thanks, guys.
That's James Morgan, driver of the number 12 machine. Him and his teammate, about 5 laps apart, JP, both had some issues.
Bradley Holly, by the way, on screen making some moves, able to get up to 9th. Surprised Holly's able to have to speed in, and he has destroyed both the fenders on that 184 from incidents.
Yeah, Bradley had a rough night, wasn't able to qualify, wasn't allowed to qualify due to the incident, the last caution at Daytona last week. So he is, I feel like more animated just in the lip movement that I've seen from Bradley Holly in a race in a long time. He maybe not having the most fun here. We'll wait and see how he feels later if we get to talk to him. But there's what he can see through his monitor. And you see just a car ahead of him, just a car ahead of him, pardon me. But look how close he gets to the wall. And that's what Bradley Holly sees.
Right now, hoping not to see red form up. Zemke, he's going the wrong way. He's got significant rear end damage now on his car. That's going to significantly hurt his chances on holding on to battles, including this one with Bossman Racing.
Now Mark Kalin right here, just taking a look here, back of that Fighting Illini car. So another representative of the college football season starting this weekend. I know I'm excited. I know you love football as well. I don't know if you get to see much American college football up in Canada, but an exciting sport.
We have TV.
Well, I know, but I have to admit, sorry, let's come back. What I meant by Cato making the pass here, what I meant was I know you guys don't get everything up in Canada that we see in the States, so I wasn't sure if there was a big focus on American college football.
Well, we do get college football. I
Fair
can
enough.
tell you that much. But more drivers in the wall. Kalin bouncing off the wall. He had Zemke drag him up there with him.
Yeah, Kalen's really having a kind of a weird night. For someone who's really been all over the track as much as he has, you almost got to be surprised he's P11. He's been under the white hashes, up on the wall, sort of everywhere on the track, but doing a pretty decent job of staying right behind Adam Zemke here. Back here you see Doug Evans back there in the, we call it a highlighter green.
Looks almost like highlighter yellowish green.
Yeah, I'll go for that.
Kalin has made the pass after all that, by the way, but able to avoid front nose damage. That's the bright side from all that, from all that squabbling. Already coming around to 66 estimated laps to go, by the way. And so far, outside of the one caution flag, haven't seen the yellow flag fly despite several attempts at it. Thomas Sink, he's gone 18 to 8 so far despite damage.
Yep, another college paint scheme here with NIU on the front of it. He's also got the Get Grinds, that new sponsor he has there on the back quarter. Watch it come around here. See Grinds right there, so doing pretty well. I think he has a promo code for himself on the side of that vehicle, JP, so a little self-promotion. I think it says Paul48 is the code to use on that website to get yourself a discount. So if you want some coffee, then you could go there. Oh my gosh, he almost shook that car like a bag of beans right there. But got NIU across the front, so that must be his alma mater.
He's doing a solid job despite the damage. A lot of drivers with damage in this race, though, Derek. That's to be expected. The Darlington stripe, always a thing here at the place they call too tough to tame.
Yeah, in a way, you could almost say if you don't leave here with the stripe, you probably didn't race hard enough. You probably didn't try, as much as you could to win this race. But everyone will leave here with a stripe at some point. But that gap right there between Abner and Regan is not moving much either way. Abner just got his Darlington stripe a moment ago, but right now it's these two, and then it's almost 2 seconds back to Jeff Ward.
And just recently, Acosta started falling off. He is struggling out of turn 2. He's fallen off about a tenth a lap the past couple to the 56.
Yeah, starting to maybe give it a little bit more of a gap here than what it was before. But listen, if you know one thing about Abner Acosta, he loves long run racing. So if this stays green, which I mean, so far it has, for better or for worse, you would think Abner might have something to be competitive here at the end of this race. But right now, it is Regan's race. So here we go, that orange Tennessee car for Colton Lane, trying to hold off NIU of Thomas Sink. I guess you'd say right now in most sports, Tennessee would win if it were college baseball or college football or college basketball. But here comes NIU to the inside, JP, making the pass.
Interesting enough, Lane saying, all right, go on ahead. Despite having to clean a race car, saying I'm going to give some give and take, it looks like.
By the way, I learned an interesting fact that I want your opinion on. I learned today that Colton Lane drinks sugar-free Mountain Dew.
That's a thing?
Yeah, you know what? I said the same thing. I was like, I didn't know that was even a thing. Like, when I drink Mountain Dew, you know what I want? The sugar. I didn't, like, that's like the main ingredients of Mountain Dew, I thought,
It is an acquired taste, Mountain Dew is.
I mean, there's only like 9 flavors nowadays. It's gotten a lot more popular than it used to be. But yeah, so Rodrigo Morales here on screen in that number 23 machine. That red, white, and blue livery of sorts. Is now trying to run down Thomas Sink. Oh, hold on.
Good save by Morales. Nearly looped it.
And Morales, by the way, is a lap down already. So having a tough night here. He's already pitted, so he has fresh tires, but that right there almost didn't show it, JP, as he just sort of almost ended his night.
Of note, Dustin Bumgarner's officially parked it for the night. 17th on down. He's currently off track due to crashes of some sorts here. Attrition's been high, and that's usually as to be expected here compared to the relatively clean truck race.
Yeah, attrition's always a thing at Darlington because some drivers just, hit that wall a little too hard and you need to pit the car and maybe do more damage than they meant to. So that always happens. But watching Morales here, again, on new tires. So, having fun in his own way. He's probably able to put a little bit more into the car right now than the drivers who've not pitted. But look at that wheel. Watch this here. Even with new tires, watch how much fight there is through the corners here at Darlington. This is not a smooth corner, JP. This is not, maybe your 1.5-mile tracks that are kind of flat and smooth. This is a bit of a fight all the way around the track.
This battle being held on to just have 30 more minutes, and we still have pit stops coming up. We're expecting stops about 10 to 20 laps here for these drivers.
Yep, so right there's Richard Regan on screen. Doing a great job, by the way. Let me tell you something, JP. There's not a better self-promoter in PRL than Richard Regan. That's a green screen behind him. That's a beautiful done. It's got all the sponsors. It's got the cupcakes. It's got 44 Ever. I think Neonism might be on. It is. Neonism's on the left side there. His car number. So take notes. If you want to self-promote, everyone can take a class from Richard Regan. By the way, he told me those cupcakes are amazing. So I asked for some in the mail. I've not gotten them yet.
Yeah, Regan Jr.'s just continue to be outright dominant whenever we've seen him run. Of course, missed a fair bit of the season as Zemke comes in for a scheduled stop.
Zemke does a great job, gets down pit road here as he's on the other side of that wall right there. Now you see him again. About getting close to the halfway point of this race. So you'll probably see a lot more cars make their way down pit road, I say in the next 4 to 5 minutes here. I want to split this race in half. But Zemke, now that long crawl down pit road, JP, that feels like forever. It's 45 miles an hour.
Regan Jr. also coming in. Bit of an undercut call, if really anything. They expect, at least the sim does, the halfway point to still be another 5 laps away for some drivers.
Kind of the opposite of our last race, isn't it? Where P2 pitted first and wanted to get the clean laps away from P1. This time P1 pits first, leaving P2 out there to get some laps in. Well, here's Colton Lane, Bradley Holly, and Mark Kalin, 7, 8, and 9. And I feel like from that shot right there, Bradley Holly's looking to get around Colton Lane and maybe not thrilled because he feels like he's being held up.
Just a little bit bottled up despite the damage. Right now, that should say a lot on Holly's pace, though. He's running this quick, 32.9s for reference, despite all the destroyed fender parts.
By the way, other food-related notes while I'm on a food kick tonight, JP. You can tell I'm hungry. Both Holly and Lane told me today they would rather not dip their french fries in anything. No ketchup, no barbecue sauce, no nothing. They eat just a french fry.
I mean, what's wrong with that sometimes?
I mean, sure. They made ketchup and blue cheese and fry sauce for a reason, is all I'm saying.
Oh, Lane may have nicked the wall there. That's opened the door for Holly, and he lives to let him and Kalin have to make a huge dive. More pit stops.
Evans and Ross Cato both doing a good job. No one will probably be as crazy a pit stop as what we saw last time. I would be surprised if anyone pulls off the Andrew Sharp.
Holly very loose. That's allowed Kalin to drive right on by. Kalin in the wall. They're all bouncing off each other. Holly bounces off of Kalin.
My goodness. Whether it was contact or not, I don't know. But, I mean, you can tell Holly just got nervous about the potential of contact with Mark Kalin. Holly's got really, really loose there. Look at this. Richard Regan, new tires, JP, to set the fastest lap of the race at 37.78. So that will probably swap around a couple times, and we'll see where it ends up. But right now, look at this. Mark Kalin up here doing pretty well in P4. Hasn't pitted yet, so needs to cycle. You would think if you're Bradley Holly, I would think you want to pit, JP, just to get away from this mess. I'm surprised Holly hasn't come down pit road yet.
Back-to-back fastest laps. Regan Jr. just bumped up the fastest lap even more. Already seen Acosta duck down to pit road. Jeff Ward is your current leader over Ted Lowendick. Also yet to pit, Sink and more. Doug Evans just pit.
The cycles are slowly starting to happen here now. Colton Lane's going to come to the bottom. Oh, what is that wild move? A little early in the entry, I thought, but Colton Lane apparently down pit road and almost slid it back on the track.
A little bit too low on the angle.
Yeah, a little too early or low, both maybe would be the analysis there for my opinion. But right now that leaves Jeff Ward all by himself. Hasn't pitted yet, so he'll cycle back once he does. Maybe just hoping for the caution that's never happened tonight. If you're a driver in this race, JP, it's almost hard to think you're out here waiting for the caution because, well, history has proven to us that it may never happen.
Sink is coming in. Holly is coming in. A little bit fast for Sink, but no speeding penalties. No speeding penalties for either driver. Jeff Ward coming this time.
That did look a little fast for Bradley Holly, I thought, but here comes Jeff Ward. Let's watch his entry here. Now just to cut it way to the left. You know, it's really interesting about this pit road entry. I wanted to do this in a truck race, and we kind of got sidetracked by the Andrew Sharp slide. despite how much track you have to get down there and sort of line up your entry, JP, the actual entry point is not very wide here at Darlington.
We've seen these drivers come very close. We've seen people hit the barriers, actually. The truck. Mark Kalin, he's the only one yet to pit, and he's getting swarmed.
Yeah, I suspect he'll be coming down any time here, getting passed by Ross Cato, sorry, Ross for that, and now has others behind him. Dalton Geyer's back there, and many more want to try to get their lap back. But right now, Mark Kalin leads more laps this season.
Can at least lead a couple. He can go an extra about 5-10 laps, give or take, on the fuel tank if he so chooses on this roll of the dice. We'll see if the roll of the dice works out.
Remember, Mark's one of those drivers who I believe pitted under the only yellow we've had so far. So I'm being told no, but I'm surprised he's going this far then. But apparently was not a pitter, so we'll wait, back off that comment. You see other drivers just going much faster around him, and they're going to catch him lap by lap with Regan Jr. wanting his lead back.
Bradley Holly came out right behind a sea of cars, right behind Regan Jr. in fact. Once those battling right now, Regan Jr. net leader by 5+ seconds over Acosta.
In a way, this is sort of the worst possible scenario for Bradley Holly. He's sort of stuck in the same logjam he was in before he pitted. A lot of drivers, when they pit, they hope to come out differently, but he came in behind a couple cars and came out behind a couple of cars. So we'll see how this plays out for Bradley Holly here. Ted Lowendick to set the new fastest lap, by the way. Ted's trying to get a couple bonus points to help him in the point standings here. But look at this, Bradley Holly here, just trying to go somewhere. Wants to get around that car in front of him and catch up to Jose Medina.
Regan Jr. does give him the inside. Bradley Holly, slightly fresher tires, able to drive on by. New fastest lap, Jeff Ward.
There's Mark Kalin, a 62, that University of Kentucky Wildcat machine. Whew, having a hard time. That looked wicked loose there. Through that, of course, Mark trying to keep Richard Regan at bay. Regan's going to catch him. I mean, look at that gap there, 1.8, 1.6, 1.8. So, I mean, obviously Regan is closing the gap here. That's what new tires would do for, pardon me, at Darlington. That's what new tires do, is they just help you catch there. But right now, Colton Lane is the driver trying to catch him. That's an SEC battle right there, Justin.
And Lane easily gets himself back in the lead lap, 10 on the lead lap right now. Should potentially see Regan Jr. take the overall lead. Next little bit, the gap is down to about 2 seconds, give or take, between the 56 and the 5.
This is what I like about what Mark Kalin is doing right here in a weird way, is I think that, you know, if that mythical, hypothetical, non-existent yellow flag were to come out right here, he might be okay, because it's been a long enough of a run for some of these drivers. They would come down with him again. He would not give up every track spot, as now he's going to get past the lead here. But some drivers would pit with him. He would gain some track position on that strategy. Maybe not everyone would come down, but he would be okay.
Ross Cato, Jeff Ward. Oh, and contact! That destroys them both.
Oh,
Morales involved. Caution flag is out.
There it is.
Wow. Rodrigo Morales sparks a caution with 20 minutes to go. And Mark Kalin just may have rolled the dice perfectly here.
I think Kalin may have been in the lead when we'll have to wait and sort that out separately.
Yes.
But wow, because he was getting passed by Regan, so I'd love to see what happened there. But the first thing to check out is this wreck here that finally brings out a yellow flag here that involves Morales and Cato and others. Watch it again here. Car in the wall. Wow, that is right in the side of Ross Cato. And listen, Jeff Evans only escaped by milliseconds.
And several are trying to get themselves around the pace car or sort themselves out here. A lot of confusion as Morales is holding back some of the drivers apparently.
Well, I'm sure with that, how damaged that car looks, it's got to be slow on track, and so there's got to be some confusion here. Look at who's going to come down. That's Mark Kalin. That's Jose Medina. That Richard Regan. That's almost everybody.
It's not a surprise there are the tire sets available to do this. But this is huge for Kalin's race. He had been running edge of top 10 before this. Not anymore, as there's a look from Jeff Evans.
That's crazy how close that was. I mean, it's like one Buckeye nut away from being in that wreck.
There's a lot of people trying to sort out where they need to be, by the way, on the racetrack for the pace car. Lots of confusion as several of the drivers who had been moved by the pace car are just now able to pit.
Well, there's probably some confusion with, like I said, with how slow Morales was able to pace around. I'm sure he held some people on the track here, but like this on pit road, it looks like Regan passed Kalin on the exit here. So Regan will assume the lead as of this moment. But whether you get the lead or P2, I mean, that's still a great run for Kalin. I suspect we shouldn't be surprised Kalin got past there, JP, because he needed fuel, or more fuel, I should say, than his other drivers.
A full tank, in fact, 1 second longer in the box, 1 second longer in the lane. That's the difference maker to see who controls this restart. It's still huge for his race as a whole, though. He might be able to get himself a possible top 5 or top 10 from this.
Of course, it's only a couple weeks ago that Mark scored his first win. And PRL had that very emotional moment with him and his teammates celebrating together on the podium. So he'd love to replicate that tonight or just get close to it. That car in front of Regan, that's a lap down car, by the way. That's Doug Evans. He will go around at the 1 to go. So he will not be involved in this battle. But look at this. Regan, Kalin, Acosta, Ward, and Evans are your top 5. Let's go back and see how close they were when the yellow came out, by the way, JP. This is going to be Kalin up front, Regan in second. And that's the moment of caution right there. So one car away. Yeah, that's crazy. And I'm more curious if, because I thought at one point that I thought Regan was definitely going to pass him, but just, I guess, timing was on Kalin's side here. Well, they're going to start to double file a little early and get ready to line up here. So again, the 41 will move on by JP. He will not be involved in this battle.
So we're going to see what happens here. 12 on the lead lap. We get back going, including Doug Evans. Looks like there's the wave for Evans. Regan Jr., Kalin, Costa, Ward, Jeff Evans, Lowendick, Sink, Lane, Knight, Zemke, your top 10. Brownie Holly also on the lead lap with Doug Evans. 16 minutes ago for the Grand National Series. It's been an exciting one, Derek. Now it's time to see how they close it out.
Yeah, there's Bradley Holly going to try to get himself around as well. Must have been on pit road fixing some repairs and getting stuff done. Well, now I would have to think the intensity picks up. Now everybody wants to win this race and, be, that's the last winner of the Grand National Series here. So we'll see if maybe this ramps up a little too hard. I don't know if we're done wrecking.
And it looks like Brownie Holly still trying to sort out where he needs to be for the restart here. Not sure what's going on here. Holly apparently being told to go to third. I am so confused. Not sure how that works. He lets the drivers go back. What in the world?
Yeah, I don't know either, but he got out of the way, and I'm not sure what happened there. The scoring system probably a little different, and also probably awkward due to the fact that Bradley came out of pit road right before the field came around. I don't know. At least that's what it looked like on our camera shot. So once again, they got it all sorted around though. So it's going to be now Regan Jr., Kalen, Acosta, Ward, and Lowendick your top 5.
Less than 15 minutes to go on the season. On that note, now we see who's going to be able to withstand long run. Looks like everybody keeping it to the same rhythm to start this run.
Yep, back to the top lane, the top shelf as you call it. Some people call it the place where grandma keeps the cookies, whatever phrase you have for it. That's where most of these drivers are running in this moment. Everyone just trying to find whatever advantage they can. I like what Kalen's doing here, by the way. He's a little backed off of Regan, which means he probably gets a little less dirty air to deal with. So this may or may not work out in his advantage. And Regan just put out a new fastest lap. They've cut almost 6/10 off of the fastest lap in this race, JP.
Stellar for Regan Jr., and that's also got to be partly with the weather conditions. Stayed most through quality this entire race. It has, in turn, seen it be in 105-degree Fahrenheit ballpark. The truck race was much hotter. New fastest lap again for the 56.
In fact, that 105 is down, I believe, about at least 10 degrees from where this race started. So that's going to be part of why we're putting new fast laps down. You got colder track, newer tires, some rubber set in, and everything going on. Here's Holly, by the way, back here in this field, makes the pass here. He's a lap down as of this point, and hoping he can get the lucky dog spot if another yellow were to come out here. So he is, you see on the side of your screen, racing with Jose Medina, who's right in front of him in that green and yellow machine. So Bradley needs to get up there and get that pass made, and then hope for a yellow.
See if that happens over this race time. So all of this is with Mark Kalen doing a very good job, still holding on to second, not losing too much ground here.
Mark's really had, you know, and JP, you've been involved in PRL longer than I have, and maybe you remember one that I don't, but this top to bottom has to be the best season Mark Kalen has put together in a long time.
Yeah, he's going to think a lot of positive thoughts. You'd have to think about a season like this. He's raced well, he's raced clean. Still looks like he's stressed because, well, there's still more than 20 laps expected to go here.
Yeah, not done yet. Less than 12 minutes here on the clock, and is being run down by Abner Acosta, who's one of the best at what we do in the PRL. So, yeah, not done yet. Still under attack and under pressure here in this moment. There's Thomas Sink again, fighting with Colton Lane. These guys are teammates on the Whataback, and they're still racing that hard together. Always love to see that. In fact, that's Whataback right there. That's a three-liner. That's Jeff Evans and Thomas Sink and Colton. There's that Paul 48 promo code. That's even bigger to be seen on the back of the car. But here we go, Colton Lane. And that Rocky Top machine right there. JP, do you know the words to Rocky Top? You want to sing it for us?
No, I do not.
No, you don't know the. No, you don't know the words, or no, you don't want to sing it for us?
I don't even know what Rocky Top is.
Oh, okay. That's the song they play at University of Tennessee, like, I think before the game, and yeah, like it's, you know, it's their thing. So, yeah.
Well, regardless, coming up to 10 minutes to go, and we'll see pretty soon. Will anybody make a swap around? Acosta seems to want one.
Yeah, we'll see how patient Acosta is here. Remember, I said earlier, catching someone and passing someone at Darlington are two very different things, because what happens for Acosta is if he makes his pass on the bottom and he doesn't complete it, he could get stuck down there and could get passed by the drivers behind him. So he's got to be confident it's going to work, because he's now under Kalen here. And Kalen up top in the wall, and Acosta's good. But man, look how much they let Jeff Ward into that picture.
A lot, you can argue. Very much so argue right now. Kalen right in front of his future teammate.
Yep. So again, we said in the beginning here of the broadcast, Mark Kalin, right now, Boss Man Racing, he's going to join Bluegrass Motorsports next season with Jeff Ward. So, listen, as you said, with how their points are individually, they would be like the top 4, top 5 in team points tonight if they were combined together. So, that's a good choice to do it. Whoa, my goodness, Kalin in the wall again. And listen, next season in the trucks, JP, is almost all returning drivers. There was no room for new drivers in this combined truck season. So finding and recruiting new teammates will be a hard challenge because a lot of these guys already have established teams and teammates. And if you're trying to grow your team or grow into team points next season, it may be harder to do than you think.
Right, just let them on by, no issue. What else can you do?
Nothing right there. And I mean, Jeff Ward obviously with the better machine, you know, maybe a little less damage in the car, doing pretty well. Here's Lowendick getting past, by the way. That's Jeff Evans down there in that Buckeye machine.
Keeping it simple.
Have you ever eaten a Buckeye?
What? A bug-eye or a buckeye?
Buck, B-U-C-K, Buckeye, like how to say it, Buckeyes.
No.
Have you ever eaten a Buckeye? Okay. Do you know what a Buckeye is?
No. Do you?
Yeah, basically you make peanut butter balls. So peanut butter, powdered sugar, blah, 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 blah. You freeze them, and then you dip them in chocolate. So they're basically chocolate-covered peanut butter balls. They're amazing. They're amazing. Some people call them, I think up in the Northwest, some people call them like George Washingtons for some reason. But I've always known them as Buckeyes. I'm from Ohio, so maybe I'm biased, but there you go. In fact, that's what Brutus the Buckeye, his head, is a Buckeye nut.
Didn't really know that before that point.
Listen, you hang around me, you'll learn some useless knowledge every week.
Mike Knight. Good run for him. He's having a top 10 run. One of his better runs this season.
Yeah, doing pretty great here is Mike Knight. You know, had some moments in the season maybe to be proud of and some not to be proud of, but and some moments he's been caught up in that were in no way his fault. But right now, Mike Knight doing pretty well right here behind Colton Lane. So we're currently running for 8th and 9th on track. And with about 7 minutes to go on the clock, would love to get a pass or two in here. But look at this. We're back to where we started before all the pit stops. It's Regan and Acosta half a second apart.
Regan Jr. so far has been outright dominant. 63 laps led tonight. Looks to close it out, only a couple laps away for the point of no return.
And right there, if you're Richard Regan, you're happy to see that, but we'll see some lap comparisons here in a moment maybe. But there it is. Abner Acosta, I mean, slowly running down Regan, but just maybe not enough with what time is left. You see a 1/10 of a second, almost a 10th, and that time slower than Richard Regan.
Time ticking away. Jeff Evans also currently hanging out in third where he's been much of this race. Acosta going a lot more deeper, trying to gain the ground.
Acosta trying hard here. Remember, we call him Mr. Long Run. That's the nickname that a lot of drivers in this league have given him. It seems like when we have long races, Abner's always up in the picture. Remember, your points leader coming into tonight and basically locked in that points title once Zach Kerr had that incident that was not deemed a caution. So Abner now just racing for the win. Talking about the playoffs. Oh my gosh, that was Jose Medina sideways. And now Bradley Holly's under him for the pass.
Up in front of him. Holly trying to pass lap traffic more than anything for 13th, a lap down. Oh, and Mike Knight gets turned around off the nose of the lane. Not clear. 5 minutes to go, and this may trigger a late race restart.
Oh my gosh. And Bradley Holly was around Jose Medina. He is the lucky dog, JP. So, wow, that was a hard hit out of nowhere. So if this thing goes green again, Bradley Holly is the lucky dog, the beneficiary of whatever you want to call it. But my goodness, Mike Knight is slid up the track. And I mean, once again, from the top view, not the rocky top view, but the top view, there was nothing Colton Lane could have done in that moment.
And so we'll see how things go now, because they just caught the pace car now. There's still 4 minutes to go on the season.
Yeah, this seems like we might get going again. Watch this again here. I mean, Mike Knight really just comes out of the corner almost in a natural line. Just, whoa, who was that? Someone lucked out in that shot right there, JP. I don't know who that was in the middle that kind of got barely through there. But, I mean, Knight came out of that corner like a normal line. He just kind of forgot there was a vehicle up top. That was Adam Zemke. I don't know if we can get a view of Zemke getting through that wreck, JP, but that was, watch this here. There's the wreck. There's the wreck. From that angle, it doesn't look that impressive.
So, Richard Regan Jr. and everyone else up front staying out outside of Zemke. Zemke the last lead lap in 9th. But Holly expect to get the lucky dog. Did he? I don't know. It doesn't look like he. Dalton Geyer got it. I think they may have made contact. Colin Medina did enough to trigger. Anything with a 0x can cause you to lose the lucky dog.
I'll tell you what, Bradley Holly's had a frustrating night in his own mind. We can hear him in the voice chat just kind of amped up about the problems he's had tonight, and that won't help anything to not get the lucky dog. Now, the good news for Dalton Geyer, you're on the lead lap. The bad news for Dalton Geyer, you're going to have to start at the very, 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 very tail end of the field behind everybody. So, oh no, yeah, we're getting word now. Bradley Holly, watch this. This will be as the caution comes out. There's the contact. That probably was enough to trigger the 0x, and that would have killed his lucky dog. Well, JP, we're 2.5 minutes to go. We're a number of laps into this caution. And I would guess we're either 2 to go or 1 to go at this point. We're going racing again.
It's going to be close on how many laps we get. Pace laps 57 seconds to 1:18 right now. But let's talk about Abner Acosta regardless right now. Give him huge credit. Acosta's been the driver this season. Right now, 28 points the difference between him and Kerr. Obviously, that grew tonight. Not a bad way to close out a championship run here this season.
Sorry, we're just listening into instructions from race control, where this sounds like we're going to wait and see what happens here. They're being told if they get a drag race scenario, then just going to basically treat it like yellow. That's what's going to happen here. But wait and see. This time by will be the time marker. I don't know. I mean, you said these are long, long pace laps here. We're almost down to 1:25, and we're not even through the corner yet. So I would think this would be white flag right here. So they're going to get, I think they're going to get a full lap in. I really do. Hold on, let's see. Watch the pace car.
Lights are out. 1:05. This might be white flag. It's 1 lap shootout is the call.
Well, we'll wait and see when they come around here. Basically, they're being told if it's, I think it's 1 lap, but they're being told if it's a drag race not to race it. If it's a white flag, you know, go for it. So wait and see. I mean, right now, if you're Richard Regan, you're the one driver hoping we don't go green. If you're Abner Acosta, Jeff Ward, Mark Kalin, Jeff Evans, hey, why not? Let's go for it. So we'll wait and see as we bring the pace car around. Man, these moments of uncertainty always drive me crazy as a driver, JP. You just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how to prepare. You don't know if it's time to relax. But we're being told we're going on the leader. We're being told we're racing.
6, 5, 4. Green flag in Barney's hand. There's the zeros. Got a final lap trigger on the scoring, but we'll see what they do on the racetrack. Green flag is out. A lot of tire spin. Regan Jr. leads them through. They are letting them race it for 1 final lap.
Tire spinner or Abner Acosta missed the memo, one of the two. But Jeff Ward now to the inside. Mark Kalin now is going to be the next to attack him. And Jeff Ward through the corner, close to Abner. Kalin to the inside.
3 wide in the battle for second. Regan Jr. will come at a turn 4 here. Close it out and dominate at Darlington. Will Abner Acosta will win a Grand National Championship at Darlington.
Yeah, congrats both to Regan and Acosta for those 2 different victories of their own. And a 1 lap shootout is how Richard Regan did it.
Dominant run. Let's take a look at the results real quick before the celebration. Regan Jr. coming away with the win by 6/10 over Acosta and Ward. Lead lappers also included Kalin, Jeff Evans, Thomas Sink, Ted Lowendick, Adam Zemke in 8th, Doug Evans, and Dawson Geyer squeaks out top 10. Bradley Hawley finishes a lap down with Jose Medina after they make contact in the battle for the lucky dog. Ross Cato finishes 2 down. Mike Knight, getting turned around with Colton Lane, finishes in front of Lane. Morales, Bumgarner amongst the DNF list with Dunn, Daniel Knight, Nathan Deering. Rest of your finishers, Morgan, Kerr, and Paul Williams II did not take the green flag tonight. Let's look top to bottom at the running order here tonight on Race Spot. Regan Jr. burning it down and ready to pass the torch over to Acosta for a championship, Derek.
Yeah, what a great night of racing in this series. I mean, lots of twists and turns and unexpected moments, but for Acosta, this the cap to an amazing 9-week season by him. Congrats to him on that. Congrats to Richard Regan coming back just about half a season or so and really has shown off and shown his skills in both of those scenarios. Waiting for drivers to come over to the interview room so we can have those conversations. But JP, you had drama, you had different race leaders, you had pit strategies, you had wrecks, you had everything you could want in what's going to be the sunsetting of this league, of this series, pardon me.
Yeah, Grand National Series closing a chapter for now tonight. After years upon years of winners, and they all burn it on down together as one. Still waiting for drivers, but we do have Jeff Ward that's just joined on in. Why don't we take the time to talk with Jeff Ward as the championship drivers celebrate their wins here tonight. Jeff, how are you feeling about the top 3 tonight here at Darlington?
I feel pretty good about it. We pretty much did what we could with what we had. I feel like we had pretty good speed and maybe could have stuck with them guys, but we got in the outside wall and got wall glued and got a couple seconds of damage. I think it really made the car tight on that first run and just burned the tires up and kind of lost pace with them. But, a couple cautions there and we fought and clawed and held on to 3rd place. And it's kind of a hairy moment on the last lap going into 3, but was able to hold on to it. And I think we gained a couple more spots and points tonight. Other guys had trouble. So, yeah, good run for us.
Overall, how would you describe your season here in the PRL?
It's very stiff competition. It's strange to not get a win. I was really searching for that win all year. Got a couple seconds and thirds and just couldn't get a win. So hopefully going forward in the truck series we can change that. And but yeah, I'm happy. Like I said, it's super stiff competition. So to come out and get a top 5, any given week is quite an accomplishment with these guys.
What are your plans now for next season, now knowing it's going to fully trucks next year?
I actually like the truck a little better than these. I feel like I can drive it a little better. So, like I said, hopefully we can go out there and go for a championship. We can't let Abner get away that far, man. He won by a lot and won a lot of races. So we got to go out there first race, make a statement, and hopefully hold on to it.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to here tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank Lexington Brewing and Distilling. They've been on the car for a while now. Thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast. Thanks to PRL for letting me run this season. This was my first season with them and looking forward to many more. And just got a couple friends out there watching. I'll say hey to them, and that's about it.
Congratulations once again on the run.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Jeff Ward coming away 3rd Your race winner tonight, he's going to be with Derek Watson. It's Richard Regan Jr.
Well, Richard, you got another win here tonight. PRL, congrats on that. But walk me through that last lap. Were you concerned, or were you just happy just to get one more shot at it?
Yeah, thank you. Honestly, I thought the race was done, but I kind of knew if we had a one-lap shootout that it was going to be hard for Abner to stay side by side with me, just because the leader has such an advantage anywhere we go on restart. So I knew if I could clear him by like a car and a half, 2 car lengths going into one, that I should be okay. And then the whole top 4, top 5, we all spun our tires, and he was side by side going into one, so I kind of had no pressure out back and just try to hit my marks and get across the finish line.
So a pretty dominant race all night long. I mean, from top to bottom, minus some pit stops or pit cycles that maybe held you up for a moment. But when that caution came out finally, that put you behind Mark Kalin for a moment, what was going through your head?
Yeah, I was hoping it was gonna stay green so we could see how the strategy between me and Abner was gonna work out, because he was definitely better than me on the long run. And I think he was gonna catch me at some point, and it was gonna be a nice hard battle. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to give a congrats to Mark too, for getting a good finish and flipping the strategy like that. That's really tough to do, and he works hard at it. So congrats to him on getting more consistent, and he's getting better every week. So, but yeah, I mean, the race was pretty good. A couple cautions, not bad. And I think it's fitting that we end the Grand National Series at the track that we started the Grand National Series at.
There you go. Well, I know I was being told by our producer you've already turned your webcam off for the night, so I'm going to let you do it yourself. Do you want to give a shout out to all the sponsors that would typically be behind you on the green screen?
Yeah, thanks. I got to give a shout out to State Analyzer, Neonism Paints, Mission 22, JZ Photography, Multiple Sclerosis Society. Shout out to Abner. We were working together again tonight. Everybody at PRL and you guys at RaceSpot.
I still got my cupcake, by the way. I just want to put that out too.
Yeah, well, I did talk to her about the cupcake, and she's trying to figure out if she could even do it without the cupcake going bad. So
I understand.
Yep.
Well, listen, Richard, great job tonight. We'll see you next season in the trucks.
Yep.
All right, buddy. Well, great job tonight, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks.
All right, JP, there's your race winner, Richard Regan Jr.
Next up, our champion. Second place tonight, but a champion this campaign. Abner, how's it feel to be champion this season?
Feels really good. I felt like I was slacking a little bit on the second half of the season, but I guess everybody else kind of struggled too, so I was able to get the championship. Was hoping to get maybe this race or a closer race, but I wasn't able to do it.
Overall, how would you describe this campaign, trying to battle for the title with drivers showing great speed early on, especially like Kerr and Bradley Hawley?
Yeah, I thought at the very beginning I was very surprised with Ward, Kerr, Brad. They had a lot of speed. I felt like after like maybe mid-season, I felt like they also fell off too a little bit. So that helped because I felt like the first 3 rounds they were really, really, really fast. Yeah, again, I felt like we started off really strong as well. Kind of fell off in the mid-season, but was able to stay a little bit consistent and pull them off again.
Overall, are you going to be in the trucks coming up this upcoming season? If so, what's your approach going to be to try and battle for a championship there?
Yeah, I'm definitely doing the trucks. I haven't raced the trucks since the last time we raced them at PRL. I don't know, so that's like a year. So that's gonna be a weird change. And just like every season, you just gotta be consistent. Like, you gotta try and save your drop week as much as you can, and just have good nights when everybody else has bad ones. I've kind of fallen into that. Sometimes I do really well, and I just start having like incidents or crashes, and I just end up falling off at the end. So I'm sure everybody's going to tell you the same thing. You just got to stay consistent every race.
Well, on that note, anyone you want to give a shout out to as part of this championship run?
Yeah, I want to thank Private Label Team Hype. James, he's on vacation, so he wasn't able to make the last 2 or 3 races there, but He was also helping a little bit. Richard did also help on the last few races with some information, and obviously PRL for hosting, and you guys for broadcasting our race spot. Thank you.
Congratulations once again on the run.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Abner Acosta got away as your champion for what may for a while now be your last Grand National champion, Derek.
Well, what a season it was. We saw new winners. We saw returning drivers, moments, highlights, everything you could want in a send-off season for these Grand National cars. So I had a blast all throughout this season, and I hope these drivers did as well. But now we prepare for the future. A truck league with 60-minute races, 43 driver fields, and a schedule that will make us find out who really is the best all-around driver.
It's going to be an interesting time when that comes into play. Once again, for more information on next season, go to PrecisionRacingLeague.com to learn more. 43 confirmed entries for the trucks. On that note, though, it's time to say goodbye. For my co-announcer, Derek Watson, for our producer, Dustin Ollis, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching the PRL Trucks and Grand National Series races from Darlington. Congratulations to Brett Adams and to Abner Acosta, your champions from South Carolina.